Hello, and welcome to our IBC preview discussion, which will focus on smarter, more efficient streaming. IBC is around the corner, and of course, it's huge as always, so we will be helping you to get up to speed on latest content delivery technologies ahead of the show. We're going to talk about cost reductions, efficiency gains, and boosting flexibility of live, VOD, and time-shifted video. How? Well, with a mix of AI, hybrid cloud, content steering, and other key technologies. My name is Andy Waltenspiel, and I'm excited to be your host and moderator of this panel today. In my day job, I'm advising and challenging the thought leaders and innovators of our industry to connect the dots. Good, let's get started. Fantastic panel here today. Our panelists are Christoph Konrad from Magenta, and two streaming experts from Velocix, that's John Anderson and João Tavares. Hola, hello, hello.
Hello.
Are you there?
Hello. Hi, Andy.
Great to see you. Welcome for you all. And let's do a short round of introduction. Christoph, can I start with you? Give us a bit of background on yourself and also about Magenta Telekom, please.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Christoph. I'm working for Magenta Telekom here in Austria, based in Vienna. And I'm a senior manager of TV platforms. I'm responsible for legacy platforms as well as the new Android-based platform we have launched a couple of years ago. Magenta Telekom is a hybrid cable network operator, including DOCSIS fiber and LT network, and is a part of Deutsche Telekom Group from Germany.
Perfect. Thank you, Christoph. And who's next? Maybe John.
Yes. Hey there. So thanks for having us today, and I'm looking forward to running through the session with everyone. With Velocix, first of all, we're a leading content provider, our content delivery provider, where we work with content delivery software, recording software, origin software, and we work with many of the largest operators in the world in streaming video. So I'm a product manager. My name's John Anderson. I'm responsible for CDN applications, and that includes CDN switching. We'll be looking at content steering today in that regard, open caching, personalization products, and other areas that the business draws us into. I'm based in the US out of Atlanta, and for my background, I've come from working at a number of different video streaming vendors in the marketplace and product management roles.
Great. Thank you, John. And João from Portugal.
Yes. So I'm João Tavares. I'm based in Lisbon, Portugal. And I'm the product manager for our Velocix analytics, but also for all the Velocix platforms that support all our solutions. And that includes on-premises reference platforms, but also all the cloud solutions and platforms that we try to fit to have the best mix for each use case. And that's it.
Perfect. Good. Let's jump in. IBC around the corner. Hands up who thinks that AI will be a big buzzword. Audience, you can also raise your hand. We won't see you, but we feel you raising your hand, right? So AI is definitely the topic of the day, of the decade, maybe, who knows? And we'll see a lot of IBC there, at IBC there. So let's talk about AI, but with a focus on how it impacts content delivery. And Christoph, maybe we start with you. How important do you see AI at Magenta? And then maybe also the other aspects, how important is AI for content delivery?
Well, AI, as you said, is getting more and more important every day, every week. So we see also in the entertainment department that we need to adopt on that new technology. It brings us a lot of opportunity in cost savings and also getting quicker new products and features to the customer. When it comes to streaming, I think it's a very important topic to see how we can beneficially use that technology, especially on cost saving in the network, but also on getting the right quality to the customer with low latency, also when it comes to sustainability, to reduce carbon footprint. So I think it's there's a huge potential in that technology also for a streaming perspective.
Okay. Thank you, Christoph. João, Velocix, you have done a few announcements in the past weeks about AI.
Yeah.
Where do you as Velocix see AI have its play in content delivery, and what should we expect short term, and what will maybe take a bit longer?
Yeah, definitely AI is set to significantly improve CDN and even other streaming components like Origin and so on. One mandatory enabler or component that we look, it's essential to achieve this, it's basically have a real-time video analytics solution in place, okay? Because that will provide real-time processing and the end-to-end analysis of the entire AV pipeline. And we will be able to machine learning models provide really valuable insights, or even in the future ahead, trigger actions automatically to enhance quality of service and, of course, quality of experience. Looking to the short term or to the near future, we see features based, of course, on machine learning models that provide insights like traffic forecasting, where a machine learning model can analyze vast amounts of streaming data to predict traffic patterns and demand spikes. So this will allow CDN and operators to allocate resources and cache content closer to the users, and with that reducing the latency and in the end improving streaming quality, of course. Another use case that we are trying to enable in the short term, it's the anomaly detection, because machine learning, it's all about patterns, right? So the idea is really to form a golden pattern of each deployment, and then the machine learning, it's always looking for anomalies and trying to anticipate issues or loss of performance of the overall deployment. And in the end, last but not the least, in the short term, we are trying to enable traffic routing insights based on the machine learning model, basically proposing optimizations on the delivery paths in real time based on the current network conditions, and always with the focus to ensure the most efficient routes for that video stream, okay? Of course, on the long term, what we are seeing, it's always machine learning models running, but with actionable and automatic actions triggered by that insights. And one example is, for example, proactively resource allocation, where using traffic forecast and predicted content demand, we will trigger allocation of resources, ensuring seamless streaming and even during high demand events, okay? Of course, the other, let's say, natural use case for that with automation is adaptive streaming quality, where the machine learning models will then dynamically adjust streaming quality based on the network conditions and device capabilities, okay? And in the end, ensuring the best possible viewing experience for the users. And basically, it's that.
Okay. John, João mentioned a lot of stuff. Which of these are the most important? Or if you had to rank them, where should operators start? And then I will give that same question to Christoph. Christoph, you have a few seconds to think about.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I think AI, being a predictive technology, allows us to get to scenarios where we're able to go from, issue detection and issue awareness to issue prevention. And those issues range all the different areas that João and Christoph had mentioned. But really, we want to get ahead of there being an anomaly on a network operationally, being able to address either quality of service issues or potential outage scenarios, just because we're able to look at data real time and have a predictive approach to addressing those situations. But not only that, when we talk about capacity forecasting and looking towards how we can use this predictive technology for addressing how to grow our systems, or how to apply those resources on demand that are required, we can look at greater sets of data than we have in the past. So not only can we look at efficiency of route, but we can look at a cost model, perhaps, in terms of cost of delivery, So aligning with the cost concerns that Christoph was mentioning, we can look at for the type of service, predicting how to deliver that service against the either lowest cost path or against the highest quality of service path, depending upon the type of service that is being delivered. So I think AI and predictive technologies help us get better and more efficient in that space.
Mm-hmm. And Christoph, so we heard a lot. What of those are you maybe playing, trying out? What's already in deployment? What's planned? Is there a wish list or a sequence for you where to start?
Yeah, I think as an operator, you always look at the quality of experience. So how can we ensure that the customer gets the best picture on the TV set or on the mobile device? So when it comes to AI, I think, as John mentioned, to estimate and to ensure that the quality of video stream is perfect or nearly perfect, we can use AI as a technology to make that better, also for the customers, and also from a capacity forecast point of view. I think this will help us in future to get the best out of our network. I think there are other technologies that I think we will talk about that later today. How we can also use stability, for example. I think there are other choices available. AI, I really see in defining the best solution and the best streaming quality for our customers and predict that, and that also helps the customer.
Yeah, and AI, some people have said AI will be like electricity. There's AI inside everywhere very, very soon. And everything's called AI, even if it's just an algorithm. So we need to be careful not to be too inflationary.
Yeah.
Let's move on and talk about hybrid cloud streaming. But before we go into the depth of it, let's step back and give some overview of what is it and why does it matter. So maybe can I ask you, John, a short summary, what is hybrid cloud streaming and why is it important? Why should operators care about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So our approach to hybrid cloud is really looking at taking the best of an on-prem solution and the best of what a cloud solution would offer and bring those two value propositions together into a hybrid product. That really spans our entire portfolio, where different scenarios apply to different products. So for example, on origin or reporting solutions, it may be part of looking at the popularity of content and keeping popular content on-prem while moving long tail, less streamed content to a more cost-efficient cloud model where they can deliver that user experience in a strong way, but more efficiently or more cost-effectively. From a CDN perspective, our delivery model for hybrid cloud has to do with spiking to the cloud on streaming services when there's either a one-time a year or one-time a quarter peak event that goes above and beyond the on-premise capabilities, but does so in such a way that it protects the quality of stream and prevents the need for a long on-prem expensive build out, right? So the advantages of that is you get the best utilization of your on-prem resources while having the cloud available when you need it. So there's a number of different use cases, but it's really about bringing those different technologies together to deliver a hybrid solution.
And is that all brand new technology, or is it been around for a while and it's taking off now? Where are we in adoption?
Yeah, so this has been around for a while. We've been talking about this at IBC and other shows for quite a bit of time. For different products, it is at different stages of its life cycle. But for example, we have if you go to our website, there's a great recording we did at NAB last year with TELUS that explains exactly how we're deploying nPVR technology for the use case I just explained, where we would be offloading the long tail content to the cloud and really optimizing that use case scenario for delivery on to subscribers at a very strong quality of experience. So we've we've got this in real live scenarios deployed, and we're also extending our reach across the portfolio with other solutions.
Okay. Christoph, how is that for you at Magenta? Hybrid cloud, is that a topic already? Where are you?
Well, I think it depends on which operator you are. So as a Magenta Telekom here in Austria, we do have the infrastructure to use an on-prem CDN. And that was a decision actually made in order to have the capability to bring the edge directly to the customer or near to the customer to reduce latency, also to use our core network in a better way. Hybrid cloud for us plays an important role when it comes to disaster recovery, for example. So where we can easily spin off another CDN in the cloud. That's something we're looking into at the moment. But for the normal daily TV streaming, that's not necessary for us. Additionally to that, we don't have, for example, these high traffic spikes. For example, when you have a sport event, a live sport event, we have to cope. We don't have exclusive sport rights, for example, so we don't have this quick peak on traffic. So there is no real need in order to ramp up the CDN in the short term and then tear it down again. So that's the reason why we use an on-prem CDN. However, as I said, for disaster recovery, it's a very important topic, and I'm pretty sure that other operators might have a different view, and they have the right approach and the right reason for using an hybrid solution.
It always depends also on how do you deliver. Do you use DVB? I think it's part of your network is still DVB. Others that go full OTT might have a bigger problem there.
Yes.
So just
and we also started always, also from the past, we have had always an on-prem CDN. So if you would not now start from the scratch, it might be worth to think about an hybrid CDN. But yeah, for us, it was not an option.
Yeah, we'll speak again in a few months, and then we see what happens after IBC. Great. João.
Yeah.
Here, Christoph saying, I prefer on-prem. Other customers might say, I just want everything in the cloud. How do I find the right way to go? How do you get there? What are the challenges? Where do I start?
I think the key parameter to define if I keep on-prem or I need at least a hybrid cloud solution, it's all dynamic. It scales the traffic, for example, into a CDN. So it's if something that have really huge spikes suddenly, definitely an hybrid cloud or a full cloud approach can handle it, because in terms of scalability, have much more features and capacity. Where in on-prem, we are really an install and fixed capacity. And in fact, one of the challenges for this hybrid cloud or cloud new world to compare with on-premises is the dimensioning paradigm. It's different, because when we are dimension an on-prem deployment or capacity, we dimension for the peak, because we need to handle everything on-prem. And when we go to the cloud side, it's not like that. We are really trying to pay for what we use. So we do not dimension that for the peak, we dimension for the average, but prepare to scale smoothly for independently of the spike that we need to provide that traffic. Okay, so I think that's the really decision parameter, or the most important one, is how dynamic it's your pattern across in the day, across in the week. And if it's really dynamic, definitely cloud will bring a lot of cost-effective value on that. Okay. In challenges that I'm seeing here to going from on-prem to a hybrid cloud and so on, it's also the new paradigm of cost management itself. Because on-prem, it's really based on CapEx, so you have a big piece of money up front to set up all the infrastructure and so on. And going to the cloud, we're going to an OpEx model, so you pay for what you use, but the scalability feature, it's dangerous if we do not manage properly, because if you have a spike, also resources will multiply it in a faster way, and in the end of the month, the bill will be well, not a really funny build, let's say it that way. So it's really important to understand how it works, this OpEx model, and how really understand and study the pricing models, because on cloud, it's a little bit more complex, the pricing models, at least provided by the majority of the cloud providers. There is not one a single parameter to look. There is a lot of parameters, and it's really hard to estimate what will be the build in the end of the month. Okay. Other point, it's really security integration, because on workload that we're running inside the private cloud, suddenly will be more exposed in a hybrid cloud solution, because it's connecting with the internet, with an external data center or cloud provider. So it's critical to employ robust security protocols and regularly update and patch systems, especially on-prem, because on the cloud, likely the cloud providers are responsible for that part, and they are much more efficient usually doing that. So when you have a hybrid cloud, you need to be more focused on the security side of the on-prem usually, and of course, on the connection between the two environments. And well, the latest one that I'm seeing, it's really good regulation compliance, because different countries have specific laws and governing data storage and data usage. And on video stream, we have more specific and dedicated laws. So it's necessary to implement comprehensive logging and auditing mechanisms to track the streaming, the video streaming, and the data access and the data changes that we have on the cloud and on bare metal side, and to be sure that we are compliant with the specific laws for that specific customer and country. So there is a lot of work to do behind, but definitely I'm seeing a lot of cost-effective applications on hybrid cloud solutions, especially with dynamic patterns or, let's say, not unpredictable spikes during that streaming.
In your opening, you talked about real-time video analytics, and I think, so if everything's flat, it's easy to predict. If things go like that, it's a bit tougher. So let's talk about a bit about analytics in hybrid cloud architectures.
Yeah. I think, well, the complexity of managing the hybrid cloud solutions, so two environments, on-prem and cloud, well, we'll reduce naturally the overall visibility and control over resources by everything, by both environments, because it will create monitoring silos, okay, and making it harder to track and the overall hybrid cloud performance and ensure efficient operations. So that's why we believe that a real-time analytics platform should be or must be also a unified analytics platform that can touch both environments at the same time and have this critical role to ensure that end-to-end visibility, independently if we have an hybrid cloud solution between two public clouds or one on-prem and one public, so where the workloads are running, basically. So an analytics tool that can collect and process and provide insights looking to the overall hybrid cloud solution, it's something that will be definitely critical to have a success deployment on that strategy. Yeah.
As always, you need to measure and then decide based on what you see.
Correct. But looking to everything, not only some specific environment. Yeah.
Otherwise, you pray for the best.
Yeah, or you look once at a time. Let me look to the on-prem. Let me look to the cloud. What it's different. And we are trying to leverage that productivity, really exposing a unified view about the entire, let's say, hybrid cloud solution and both environments at the same time.
Perfect. I'm conscious of time. I think we need to move to our next topic, which is multi-CDN and content steering. But again, before we jump in, what is multi-CDN switching? John, can you help us?
Sure. So we've been working in multi-CDN environments for a long time with our CDN broker product. So what that is, it's a risk strategy for an operator who wants to have multiple CDNs available to them to deliver content based upon either a risk scenario or a cost scenario or capabilities scenario. So CDN Broker in that sense is a product that helps support intelligent traffic routing across a multi-CDN environment based upon either static or dynamic rule sets so that we can deliver the right traffic to the right CDN at the right time. And part of this area is now getting into do with this emerging technology called content steering. It's been around for a little while, but not everyone's yet familiar with content steering. So content steering is a specification that allows for media player data through CMCD data to be driven to a content steering server where a serving decision is made based upon the experience of the user on the player. So if quality degrades, you can do a switch between multi-CDNs just based upon that experiential data that is driven to the server, and a steering solution then follows. Both HLS and Dash have solutions in this area, and we're seeing that new iOS and Android devices have this capability available today. So adopting a content steering solution into our CDN Broker solution allows us to have a much more cost-effective way of delivering multi-CDN switching based upon user data in an in-session switch. As opposed to our previous architectures, which was looking at manifest manipulation and high compute at the edge of the network. So content steering really does drive a more efficient way of making those intelligent decisions. Additionally, our CDN Broker product allows for other dynamic rules, not only what the player experiences, but things like cost, time of day, geographic location, any number of capacity rule sets that allow us to then also make other multi-CDN switching decisions.
Okay, so improved viewing quality, one of the benefits, do it dynamically, and do it at the player level. So it's really per customer decision. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. And a much more efficient model in terms of cost of compute.
Yeah. Okay. Christoph, what are your thoughts on multi-CDN and content steering? Where are you? Is that something, or maybe if not applicable to Magenta Telekom, maybe you know what's happening in the rest of the Magenta universe?
Well, multi-CDN is, I think, getting more important. It is, as far as I can recall, a quite new topic. There was already discussion a couple of years ago, but it was not really set it into place. What the use case I could see and what we also looking into is having, for example, content, long-time storage content offloaded in the cloud, and then using a different CDN for streaming that part only. So as John mentioned, like content steering, to really decide which CDN in which situation I use, keeping the local CDN, the on-prem CDN, in a way scoped for the live traffic, and use long-term storage for a different CDN for the long-term storage. So that's something which is very interesting also for us because it reduces also the pressure on the local CDN. And gives us the flexibility to really decide where the content should come from, and there's also for sure a price tag on that, which helps us also keep our OPEX and CAPEX in place.
So I see there's cost and price discussions as everything we're touching here today.
Yes, and I think also, as João mentioned, the difference between CAPEX and OPEX costs is getting more and more important. Because most of the things are getting into the cloud, so it is different budget. So you're getting more pressure on the OPEX, but however you release your CAPEX. So if you find a way to transform CAPEX into OPEX within your financial department, it's easier to move out also in that direction, and that's that's also for the customer, I think, a good way.
Yeah, definitely. João, from your side, on keeping cost and quality of service under control, what can you share with us, and what's your specialty is analytics? How can you help?
Yeah, so looking for content steering specifically, in fact, we will show on IBC, and I'm unveiling a little bit, but we are looking to provide a unified analytics, as I said previously, and we already support CMCD logs, meaning player metrics, and these brings a new end-to-end vision. So of the entire AV pipe, we can see everything in the same analytics platform since the origin until the player metrics, meaning what the user is experiencing, right? And that is the new about our Velocix analytics. And looking for that user experience metrics that CMCD logs will bring for content steering, definitely we can adjust the entire AV pipe to better provide the user the best user experience possible, and improving also the quality of service of the CDN, of the origin, everything together. So because finally we have an end-to-end view, and definitely these player metrics was one piece that was missing, because we look only up to the CDN, and then we do not really have information from the player and what the user is experiencing in terms of saturation, buffer length, and so on. And now it's available through these CMCD logs, and it will leverage much more valuable insights with this unified analytics concept that we are developing here. About multi-CDN and cost efficiency, of course, that analytics have a critical paper here or role, because you need to have a tool that is constantly looking to the most important aspects and metrics of each CDN that you operate, and then based on that metrics, you have actionable insights to improve the cost-effective way to provide that stream to your users, okay? But also in terms of anomaly detection or recovery, for example, if for some reason a particular CDN is underperforming or facing technical issues, the analytics will provide you all the required information to mitigate the impact on the end user by switching that traffic to the other CDNs available in a balanced but also in the cost-effective way. So I think that's the main role of analytics on the multi-CDN use case specifically.
Okay, good. One more technology that might help to either save cost or even gain you revenue is open caching. We've talked a couple of times about that over the last year or even years. Same as always, John, can you please help us? What is open caching and what is driving it in the market?
Sure. Open caching is a technical solution being driven by the SVTA. We're a member of the SVTA organization, and it really allows make it easier to deploy content across a federation of open caches. So the benefit to a content provider in that scenario they would be able to find high quality streaming across a number of available open caches at different operators. And for the ISP, the benefit would be that they can help monetize their last mile of delivery by having an open cache that they can sell to the marketplace in terms of content providers or the top providers. So far, for the SVTA and those of us who are contributing to the SVTA standards, this has been a technical solution. I think the next part in open caching, though, is really defining the business model and how that develops, right? And how we bring open caching compliant ISPs and content providers and over-the-top providers together in order to take advantage of what open caching promises as a way of reaching more on-premise, high-quality caches at a reduced cost in such a way that it's a win-win for both the ISP and the content provider.
Okay. Christoph, are you using open caching? Are you looking at it? What's your thoughts?
Unfortunately not. I think it would be very beneficial for us as well. I think there was already 2 years ago a discussion with one of the big OTT players, and this was also the driver for that topic.
Yeah. think Christoph, he's back.
What actually from OTT players, traffic takes a huge part of the capability in our network. So if we would get the possibility to get the caches near to the customer, it would also reduce the pressure on our network. And with the benefit, as John mentioned, we could monetize that as well. So we would like to do that. I think OTT players are not ready for that, or at least not willing to do that. I don't know, but let's see. So we would appreciate that in that direction.
Okay. So, John, it seems there is need in the market. The SVTA is pushing it. We talk since years. Why is it not taking off faster? Is there a killer reason, or is it just the SVOD players don't want to play? Where are we?
So I think the biggest challenge still is, like I mentioned before, it's on the business model. It's how do we find a way where finding open cache opportunities, having a marketplace for transacting against those open caching opportunities, and delivering in a consistent, truly open way is how you reach an open cache on an ISP's network. I think today where you see the open caching systems that have been delivered, there's still a direct relationship between the content provider and the ISP, meaning whether it was open caching or wholesale CDN, it's really the business relationship, which is outside of the technical solution, is being driven on a one-to-one basis. Until there's a marketplace for open caching and a clear business model for how to find an open cache, I think it's going to be a slow adoption. But once that opens up, and once you can find those opportunities as a content provider and then transact against the caching you need for the event that you need, then it will become a much more highly adopted technology. So again, I think the next challenge, and probably the harder one to solve, is the business model, where we bring different partners together in the landscape of content providers to ISPs in such a way that it's a win-win for both.
Mm-hmm. I'll stay with you, John, and we're going to talk about managed services. We still have a bit of way to cover to the end. So managed services. What do you, Velocix, mean by managed services? You're going to show some of that at IBC, so bring us up to speed, please.
Sure. So, for Velocix, our managed services it's an offering that spans the management, the operation, the maintenance of our streaming platforms. And we've been in this space of delivering CDN and video delivery software for quite a long time now. And a key element of our business offering is our managed services. And we do this with a number of different operators around the world, and it is really core to our business approach. So what does that mean? That means we can help launch new streaming services. We can support high-profile events by adding managed services to the table when that is needed. And we can provide ongoing expertise to strengthen teams on the operational side of the business. As we look at the fact that we are extending into new areas of hybrid cloud technology, as we're talking about AI, as we're looking at multi-CDN environments, and all of those new operational models, the expertise that we can bring through managed services really helps augment a team at an operator's current capabilities, and helps make those services more successful. So we see our managed services as key to our value proposition, and it's why we really want to highlight that at IBC and have the opportunity to talk to those attending IBC about our capabilities there.
Okay, maybe I want to talk to one attending here today, and that's Christoph. Is that something you're interested, some managed services like that, or you would rather say we do everything ourselves?
Well, actually, we do have a managed service with Velocix. So there is also a reason for that. First of all, it is a possibility to help the local team. The local team usually is under pressure getting things fixed, which are not daily business. So there are more important things sometimes than having a new service implemented. It is important also for us to give the team also someone they know, okay, if I'm not able to solve it, there's someone else who can help me in case something is not working. So that was the reason why we actually decided to onboard a managed service with Velocix. It also helps a bit in onboarding new people in the operational processes, so that you can spread around the work over more people in onboarding people. So yeah, for us it's definitely beneficial, and it helps for sure keep the stability of the platform.
And since you agreed to be a speaker here, you're probably not super unhappy with the service provided.
No, I'm very happy. So no, it works very well. So also from an incident perspective, how does this be solved, and if we ask something needs to be changed, it's a very good support, and we get what we need. So that's good.
Very good. Good. We're approaching the end slowly. Let's talk about IBC and what's coming. And then after that, we'll have time for Q&A. I see already one question from Ayub. And the rest, if you also have questions, please send them to us. We'll get to it after this little section of what's coming at IBC. What do we expect? And I'll stay with you, Christoph. What are you looking forward the most at IBC?
First of all, to meet you, Andy, again in person. That will be very nice to see you, and also to meet our partners. From a technology perspective, I really hope that there is a bit more on the AI topic. I think last year it just crashed the surface of that topic, really see how AI improved or impacted the industry over the last 12 months.
Yeah. Do you expect any big bangs or any big surprises, or it's more business as usual?
To be honest, I don't think there will be a really big news story. At the end, it's all about content aggregation, monetization, recommendation, BDI, something like that, to really get use of or producing metadata out of the video stream. I think that's important. What I really hope also to see a bit more is about sustainability. How can we impact the carbon footprint overall from an end-to-end perspective in the video chain, especially when it comes to local deployments? That's very interesting, I think, because we have the responsibility to do something, to do our job also. So I hope to see there a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm running a research right now with several operators. Magenta is part of that, or Deutsche Telekom. And I see there's a big difference in sustainability. Yeah? So some say absolutely there's Green Magenta program driven by your CEO in Germany. But others are just nowhere. Said, yeah, our customers don't value it. We'll do it later.
Yeah.
And
I think that's only. Yeah, I think it's a bit too short looking into that, because even if we look at sustainability, there is a lot of cost saving there as well. And there is especially this transition from OPEX to CAPEX, where you can just by deploying new hardware, reduce the carbon footprint and save OPEX costs. And yeah, I think the biggest challenge is to make it visible, to really have numbers you can compare and say, okay, that's what I'm spending for power, and this can be used for new hardware. And
we're back to measuring and having visibility.
Yes.
And the right decisions. Yeah, definitely. So also looking forward to seeing you and a lot more people at IBC. We get together. That's what IBC is. And then, yes, we do some business on the side.
Yes.
Great. John, what will Velocix be showing at Amsterdam on the show floor?
Sure. So I'll talk about 3 of our items, and I think João will talk about the others. So I'm focused on what we've already touched on, hybrid cloud streaming. We'll be demoing some new capabilities on that front relative to how we would rapidly auto scale. One of the keys about cost control is being able to schedule as few resources on the cloud as necessary, so that you're not running a high cost model on the cloud, and that you're only using those resources as they are needed. So efficient auto scaling and looking at available capacity and headroom and key indicators that allow us to auto scale more efficiently, both auto scale up and auto scale down, allows us to control cloud costs, and also meet the needs of streaming peaks. So we'll be looking at that relative to our hybrid cloud streaming demo. We'll also be showing a content steering demo along with our CDN broker pod. So all what we discussed before, and we can show a demonstration of what a steering decision would look like in a multi-CDN environment. And we have one area where we'll be talking about open caching. And in the open caching area, we really want to drive conversations. We want people to come and talk about open caching, what their needs are, where they want to go, and how they would like to utilize it, in an attempt to bring both sides of the landscape of the content provider to the ISP together. So we're hoping to have those types of conversations around our open caching capabilities at the booth.
Okay, cool, great. And João, you have a few things to show as well.
Yeah, definitely. So on our booth, I will have Velocix Analytics product running there, so I can demo our features. But I will especially highlight two new features that we already have in place on our product. That it's basically what we call user experience metrics based on the CM/CD logs that we already touched before. And also, I will highlight our AI traffic forecasting feature. And I will also explain how we are trying to achieve always at least 95% success rate on the predictability that we are putting on that traffic forecasting, and depending on the different use cases, next few hours, next months, next days. So yeah, definitely will be very, very interesting. And I invite everyone to go to the booth, and I will be there to show these features and Velocix Analytics.
And not only go to the Velocix booth, because you'll be on stage as well, right? You're on the content everywhere. When is that, and what is it about?
It's Sunday on lunchtime. I think it's 12 and 45. And yeah, I will participate on the panel discussion, cloud strategies and the latest content everywhere use case. Where I will share what is the latest use cases of AI and hybrid cloud technology that we are covering with our solutions and products. And again, I invite everyone that go to IBC to really attend, because I'm pretty sure that will be a very interesting panel and discussion. Yeah.
Definitely. And let's hope the weather will be nice as well, because you never know with the Amsterdam weather.
Never.
Good. Let's get to Q&A. And I have the first question here from Joop. He's asking a question to you, João. João, you talked about predictive analytics using AI. What about diagnostic analytics? Is there a sort of balance between analytics, predictive diagnostics, between these two offerings? Digging deeper into data to find out why something happened might influence the predictive analytics. So where are we? What's the difference between diagnostics and predictive? Where's the balance?
If I can separate it for us in terms of Velocix Analytics product, it's two separate modules. The basic module is always monitoring, of course, and that's more we collect, ingest, the process, the data, and of course we offer in near real time, as fast as possible, that information that the operations team can see what is happening, can diagnostic some issue, and that's the module that we have already some years ago. But now we are creating a parallel module that works together with this one, that is more related with machine learning, look to the patterns and so on. What we see as a natural next step for monitoring is what I already told before. It's the models that look for anomaly detection. So you have a deployment, a weekly pattern, we know how that pattern is, and if suddenly something goes a little bit off of that pattern, our machine learning engine will highlight that and provide insights about, hey, something is wrong with this, possibly wrong with this delivery appliance, or the hit rate of the CDN is a little bit lower than expected. Can you just look and provide that information and insights in real time? So that's the next step that we see for diagnostics module, but we are treating that as a different module. So we are developing both in parallel because, of course, diagnostics and monitoring is the baseline for any analytics, especially on AV pipe solutions, definitely.
Okay.
I hope that answered the question.
We'll find out from Joop at IBC.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Joop. I have one, and then I think we need to wrap up. Christoph, if you could pick one of the technologies we spoke about today, so that's a different way of asking what's the most important one, which one would you pick that you don't have yet?
I would go for intensifying AI, definitely in the streaming pipe. I think there's a lot of potential in there, especially when it comes to customer experience, and also to use our network and our infrastructure in a better way. So I would pick AI.
Okay. Great. I think that's a perfect wrap up. We have talked about many things, but time is up and you all still have a lot to prepare for IBC. I'm sure, make sure the demos run and set meetings, do Tetris, as Christoph said when we were waiting for this panel to start. Thank you, Christoph, for being here with us. Thank you, John and João. Thank you for Velocix for setting all this up. Come see us at IBC, reach out. We'll have the email addresses here, and then see you in Amsterdam. Safe travels. Thanks for being with us, and thank you, Christoph, John, and João.
Thank you. Take care.
See you in Amsterdam. Thank you, everyone.